Hello, this is Ludolphin here for Sentinels of the Multiverse Weekly One-Shot number 53. I do apologize for this coming up a day or two late. There have been some personal issues on my end. Let's see what this one is. Send in the clones. Everything is falling into place, just as I planned. Baron Blade laughed to himself as the wretched Freedom Tower came into view. Today we strike the first blow against our enemies, and tomorrow we shall have our vengeance. He knew the accursed Freedom Fives were on the other side of the planet, saving pathetic innocents from danger because he had arranged for it to be so. That infernal tower should be practically unguarded, with just children and imbeciles waiting to be swatted aside. But still, he had proved annoyingly troublesome in the past. Comrade Proletariat! It shall be a heavy burden, but we have need of your talents. Go forth, multiply, and destroy! The Baron glanced at the hulking form beside him. Fright train, crash! That is a really long description. Well, this one-shot requires vengeance, also available as part of Season Pass 2. We have our first vengeance one-shot, and fittingly it comes 3 days after Vengeance's release. Well, it's actually, yeah. It's not Monday right now, it's Tuesday evening, but it is Vengeance themed. Vengeance came out this past Friday. This was, let's see, 19th was yesterday, so Friday the 16th of December 2016, so I guess it's within time. It's the first Vengeance one-shot, so obviously it has Baron Blade, but it also looks to have Proletariat and Fright Train. And the hero team is Young Legacy, the Sentinels, or the Southwest Sentinels, that's what they're called. And I'm going to go ahead and bitch about this in this video. The card is titled the Sentinels, but everyone refers to them as the Southwest Sentinels, because in the flavor text, the comic refers to the comic that refers to the Sentinels is called the Southwest Sentinels, and apparently that's their official title, even though their card is labeled the Sentinels. And anytime I complain about this, about 15 Sentinel fans tell me that it is the Southwest Sentinels without expanding on why it is outside of flavor text. But the card is labeled Sentinels, and it's just a massive pet peeve of mine for the official title to be something outside of what the card back is. Anyway, Young Legacy, the Sentinels, and Setback against Baron Blade, Proletariat, and Fright Train in Freedom Tower. Where's your daddy, little one? I have business with him, though you will do nicely for my plans. Baron Blade, you're looking, well, awful. You look terrible. Alright. So, Young Legacy starts with a lead from the front, motivational charge, and 2 superhuman durabilities. The Sentinels, and I'm going to be honest, I've not played with these decks so much, so I'm going to go ahead and read these cards out. For my sake, sorry if this bores you. Blackout, one shot. One of your Sentinels deals 1 target 2 melee damage. If Fright deals damage this way, the damaged target then deals each non-hero target 2 infernal damage. Fling into Darkness, one shot. One of your heroes deals 1 target 3 melee damage. If that target now has 4 or fewer HP and Wraith is active, destroy that target. Horrifying Dichotomy, one shot. If Dr. Medico is active, he deals 1 target 3 energy damage. If Wraith is active, he deals 1 target 3 infernal damage. And Sentinel Tactics, ongoing limited. The first time one of the Sentinels deals damage each turn, he may use a power. And then the powers listed, I guess I did check whether this was variant Sentinels. But Dr. Medico's base power, MD, power, 1 hero target regains 3 HP. Mainstay's base power, block, power, until the start of your next turn, reduce damage dealt to the Sentinels by 1. The Idealist's base power, telekinetic jab, power, the Idealist deals 1 target 2 psychic damage. And Wraith, base power, extract, power, reveal the bottom card of a deck, discard it or put it on the top of that deck. You might notice that there are 4 base powers for the Sentinels, because the Sentinels is actually composed of 4 entities: Dr. Medico, Mainstay, the Idealist, and Wraith. So it's actually kind of fun that in Vengeance mode, you can see there are 3 villains here. There are teams of villains fighting against our team of heroes, but within our team of heroes, one of our heroes is actually in of itself a team of heroes. Yeah, the Sentinels actually have their own card set up. At the start of the game, put the character cards for Dr. Medico, Mainstay, the Idealist, and Wraith into play active side up. Shuffle the hero deck and draw 4 cards. Gameplay. If you ever have no hero targets in play, flip this card. That's actually kind of boring for it being like a setup gameplay type card. It's kind of boring. But the flip side is the incapacitated actions. One target regains 2 HP. One player may play a card. One player may draw a card. Destroy an ongoing card. Those are your incapacitated actions. If it so happens that all of your 4 Sentinels become incapacitated, because if you take a character card and you flip it over, it just says incapacitated. Because since we have 4 heroes within this hero, you only get incapacitated if all 4 of them get incapacitated. And I don't think any of these cards talked about reviving. But I think like Second Chance. One shot. Flip one of your character cards from its incapacitated side to its active side. Restore it to 6 HP. So the Sentinels each have approximately half the HP of a standard hero, except for the Idealist. The Idealist is rather low at 11. But they have half the HP of a standard hero, but it's much easier to revive them, provided that you still have at least one of them active, because you have cards that do it for you. So you only get incapacitated per the setup card, or gameplay card. You only get incapacitated if all 4 of them get incapacitated. And then you get your incapacitated actions. So on one hand, it's a little harder to play with them because they have lower HP totals. On the other hand, it's harder to take them all out, because in order for them to be truly incapacitated, they all must be taken out. Anyway, so that's the Sentinels. And then we have Setback, who we've known to grow and love because he was part of the Season 2 preview pack. He starts with Cash Out, Plucky Break, Reckless Rush, and Whoops, Sorry. Alright, so as I said, I'm unfamiliar with these decks, so I'm going to go and read all of these cards in their entirety. Although I normally do this with the villain deck now. Villain decks now. Because there's more than one. Baron Blade, Villain, Evolved Madman. Setup. At the start of the game, Baron Blade enters play Evolved Madman side up. Genetically fused physique is put into play. Cards are revealed from the top of the villain deck until a device is revealed and put into play. Other revealed cards are returned to the villain deck, which is shuffled. Gameplay. At the end of Baron Blade's villain turn, Baron Blade deals the hero target with the lowest HP and himself 2 melee damage. However, there are more villain targets or more villain character cards than Baron Blade. There's also Proletariat. Proletariat, Villain the Everyman. Setup. At the start of the game, Proletariat enters play the Everyman side up. 2 cards named Proletariat are put into play. The villain deck is shuffled. Gameplay. Whenever this card would be dealt non-psychic damage, redirect that damage to the clone card with the lowest HP. At the end of Proletariat's turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP 2 melee damage. And then our third villain character card is Fright Train. Villain, One-Track Warrior. Setup. At the start of the game, Fright Train enters play One-Track Warrior side up. Engine of Destruction is put into play. The villain deck is shuffled. Gameplay. At the end of Fright Train's turn, Fright Train deals the hero target with the highest HP 3 melee damage. So this is a game of vengeance, which means it plays slightly differently than a standard game of Sentinels. With a game of Sentinels, you have between 3 to 5 heroes playing against a single villain in a single environment. Turn order within a round goes Villain turn, Hero 1 turn, Hero 2 turn, Hero 3 turn, and then Hero 4 and or 5 turns if they exist, and then the environment turn. But in a game of vengeance, you have as many villains as you have heroes. So we have 3 heroes in this game, so we have 3 villains. In this case, the 3 villains are Baron Blade, Proletariat, and Fright Train. A round order goes, in this case, Baron Blade's turn, then Legacy's turn, then Proletariat's turn, then Sentinel's turn. I don't have to double click for that one. If I do, well, no. Then Fright Train's turn, then Setback's turn, then the environment turn, which I can't double click on them, but that's the order. In general, it goes Villain 1, Hero 1, Villain 2, Hero 2, Villain 3, Hero 3, and then if you have more than 3, villain 4, hero 4, and then if you have more than 4, villain 5, hero 5, and then the environment turn. So, however many heroes you have as many villains, and they alternate in turns, villain, hero, starting with villain and obviously ending with hero. So, in a lot of ways, Vengeance games are rather difficult. I actually can't click on Baron Blade's deck because it's hiding behind Start Game. Interesting. That's a little bit of UI that is slightly off. But anyway, Vengeance games can be a little more challenging than standard games. At least from what I've perceived, I've honestly not played too many Vengeance games. But at least from my naive interpretation of them, Vengeance games can be more difficult than hero games because it will be a lot more challenging for us to be able to plan actions out in advance. As you've seen me in one-shots, I tend to let the villain play their first turn, then I get to my first hero turn, and then I figure out what each of my heroes are going to do. I play those cards, use those powers, I get to the environment turn, the environment does something, then I get to the next villain turn, the villain does something, then I get to my first hero turn after the villain turn, and then I decide what each of my heroes will do at that point. But in a game of Vengeance, it's a lot more difficult to be able to plan your actions in that far advance. Because the villains alternate with the heroes, and the villains can mess with your plans. They can destroy your cards, they can deal damage, they can incapacitate your heroes, they can destroy whatever targets you put into play, and they can also prevent you from dealing damage if those effects come into play. So, it's a lot harder to be able to plan things in advance. Also, there are fewer environment turns in a Vengeance game, at least from what I can tell, because there are more actions in between each environment turn, so you're less likely to rely on the environment to take care of the villains for you. Although, because there are more villain targets than hero targets, it's actually more likely for the environment to want to target the villain targets than the hero targets. As well as the fact that environment cards tend to state things like target the non-environment target with the second highest HP, which right now is actually Baron Blade, because the highest HP is Fright at 35, and the second highest is Baron Blade at 32. So although there are fewer environment actions, there are actually... the environment is more likely to want to target the villain targets, just because it's more likely for them to be second highest HP. Alright, now that I've said that blather, let's start the game and see what happens. So remember when I said at the start of the game, put these cards into play? Well, we're going to see a lot of these cards interplay right now because it's the start of the game, and there are 3 of these villains, and each of them have start of game actions. Baron Blade starts with Genetically Fused Physique, ongoing. Reduce damage dealt to Baron Blade by 1. At the end of Baron Blade's turn, Baron Blade regains 2 HP. He also starts with a device, a random device. This device is the Omniblade. Nemesis device. At the end of Baron Blade's turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP 2 melee damage. Then, if Omnitron X is active in this game, each device regains 2 HP. So, a new mechanic within Vengeance, well, even further within Vengeance, outside of Vengeance itself, is the keyword Nemesis. When you see a card with the keyword Nemesis, it usually means that this card is actually a nemesis of one of your heroes, or even a villain. And in this case, this card's nemesis is Omnitron X. You don't actually see that icon on this card because Omnitron X is not in fact in this game. But outside of the fact that this card is nemesis of Omnitron X, it has an action in addition to its standard action that only happens if Omnitron X is active in this game. In this game, Omnitron X is not active, so its second clause does not happen. So all it does is, at the end of Baron Blade's turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP 2 melee damage. Alright, now Proletariat's start of game actions is to get 2 Proletariat cards into play. Clone. At the start of Proletariat's turn, the Proletariat character card deals itself 1 psychic damage. At the end of Proletariat's turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP 2 melee damage. You might notice that this card is named Proletariat, and I said that this is one of Proletariat's cards. Yes, this card shares its name with the keyword, or not keyword, Nemesis, or not Nemesis, what am I even trying to say, Villain deck, I guess. The Villain deck is Proletariat, this card is titled Proletariat. This card art looks a lot like Proletariat, because Proletariat is all about communism, I guess. And we get 2 of these, and of course they both say the same thing. Fright Train starts with the Engine of Destruction. Ongoing. Increase damage dealt by Fright Train by 1. Increase the first damage dealt to Fright Train each turn by 1. And that's the last of the start of game cards. We now start with Baron Blade's first turn. So, start of turn, nothing happens. Card play, Old Tricks, New Allies. One shot. Play the top card of each villain deck in turn order other than Baron Blades. Each villain target regains 1 HP. So not only are we getting Baron Blades card, we're also getting Proletariats and Fright Train's cards. Proletariat starts with Share in the Struggle. One shot. Reveal cards from the top of Proletariat's deck until 2 clone cards are revealed. Put them into play. Shuffle the other revealed cards in the Proletariat's deck. So we're getting 2 more clones. And then Fright Train's card play is Off the Rails. One shot. Fright Train deals the hero target with the highest HP 3 projectile damage. Destroy 1 hero target with 2 or fewer HP. So that happened automatically. That was Setback. Setback had the highest HP. And then Old Tricks, New Allies. This is regaining HP to devices, or not even devices, each villain target. Sorry, the device HP recovery was on Omniblade. Omniblade targets Legacy. And that's it. There was actually no decision to be made on the first villain turn. Alrighty. So, some note about the UI here. At least how I've played it on tabletop, and I've played it only a few times on tabletop. As I said, I've not actually played Vengeance games too many times. But since villain turns and hero turns tend to be interspersed, it's usually happened that each player has a villain and a hero that they're in charge of. So the villain cards usually are next to each other in terms of the deck that they're in, and none of the other cards are next to them. But with the UI here, you see that all of the cards are presented one after another, which of course makes it a bit nicer. You can actually see them as if it's standard game of Sentinels, in addition to the 3 villains that you're playing against. But the nice part of the UI is you can actually just click on each villain and you can see their cards that are in play, and only their cards in play. So if you just want to see which of Proletariat's cards are in play, you can click on Proletariat. And this will be relevant because the next turn is Proletariat's turn. So if I want to destroy a card, and I want to destroy a card that will have an immediate action, I would want to destroy one of Proletariat's cards. Not that I might want to do that. But this allows you to focus on a single hand, and if you don't like doing that, you can just click on them again and you get back to each villain card in play. So this gives you the view of the entire board, and this gives you the local view, which is nice. Alright, now to actually start playing this game after 18 minutes of blabber. Legacy has a lead from the front, which is usually good to redirect damage to Legacy if we expect a certain damage type, or if Legacy has damage resistance. We have neither of those. Motivational Charge is nice for getting HP recovery across the board. It's actually not terrible for this version of Legacy because her base power is to deal 1 target 3 energy damage versus Motivational Charge deals 1 target 2 melee damage, whereas each hero target regains 1 HP. The only heroes that have not taken damage are the Sentinels outside of the Idealist, so this would give some amount of HP recovery. And then there's Superhuman Durability, which provides damage resistance to Legacy, provided Legacy will be dealt 5 or more damage from a single source, which is actually kind of rare in this game. So I'm a little more willing to play Motivational Charge, especially if I can draw a Legacy ring, because Motivational Charge will help keep our heroes alive. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and use the Motivational Charge just to be safe. And now we have 8 villain targets to choose from. So now we have a little bit of a dilemma here. So as I've said at least twice so far, I'm not too experienced with Vengeance, but from what I can tell, a good strategy is to focus on a single villain and try to get them out of play as soon as you can. Because if I focus on the non-villain cards, namely the villain targets that are not character cards, sure, I could potentially take one of them out, but because there will be 3 villain card plays in a round, it's likely that at least one more villain target will enter play, and then I'll just be so distracted taking those targets out that I won't be taking out any of these cards. So that's one thing to bear in mind. So then if I'm looking at these 3 villains and I want to target one of them, which one should I hit? Well, Fright Train gives me the most damage because of Engine of Destruction. Baron Blade does have a Nemesis bonus, but it does have damage reduction, and with Genetically Fused Physique, he will regain HP at the end of his turn. So whatever damage I do to him, he's likely to get that back. And then Proletariat is a little bit of an issue because damage dealt to Proletariat that is not psychic damage gets redirected to a clone card. And since this is melee damage and not psychic damage, it will be redirected to a clone card. So you have to watch out there. So I would look at my other cards and figure out what I would like to do, but of course there's that issue of what will Proletariat play that will mess that plan up. Well, we don't really have too many cards in play right now. But a nice card that at least I've determined within the Sentinels is Blackout, because Wraith can deal 1 target 2 melee damage, and then that target can deal each non-hero target 2 infernal damage. And as you can tell, because there are 8 villain targets in play, anything that hits all villain targets or all non-hero targets is especially nice. So Blackout is probably a good play for Sentinels. And then Setback can potentially destroy an ongoing card if we use Whoops Sorry, but we'd have to lose Motivational Charge after having just played it. Although none of his other things are particularly exciting. Anyway, I think I'm going to target Baron Blade, because one thing that I've read, I'm not sure if it's actually true, is that Fright Train is an okay villain to leave for last because it's easier to hit him because of his damage increase due to Engine of Destruction. And Proletariat tends to hit himself a lot because of these Proletariats having the Proletariat character card deal itself 1 psychic damage. So I'm going to focus on Baron Blade. Especially since Legacy is Nemesis to Baron Blade. And Legacy draws Takedown, which says villain cards cannot be played. This card is especially potent in a Vengeance game because it doesn't specify a deck, and therefore it's universal to all villain cards. Alright, normally this would be a Sentinel's turn, but now it's Proletariat's turn. Proletariat deals himself 4 psychic damage and then plays Share in the Struggle to get more clones into play. There's only 1 clone left in his deck. Oh no, he has 1 more. Sorry, I thought he had 5, but I guess he has 6. And you'll notice that each of these clone cards does the same action as the character card, which is to deal 2 melee damage to the hero target with the highest HP. So we just took 12 melee damage. But we now have 6 clones in play, so Proletariat is going to be dealing himself 6 psychic damage at the start of his next turn. Which is intense. Also, oh, I guess the villain deck shuffled, so we don't actually know what's in the villain deck. Yeah, shuffle the other revealed cards in the Proletariat's deck, so it's up in the air what Proletariat is going to play next. But one thing you do have to watch out for is Regroup and Recover. 1 shot, destroy all clone cards. Proletariat regains 3 HP for each card destroyed this way. Play the top card of Proletariat's deck. So he does hit himself a lot, but he can regain HP pretty easily with all the Proletariats in play. So watch out for that. Alright, so as I said, Blackout is a nice card to play because if I target anything, rather, that card deals each non-hero target 2 infernal damage, but a particularly nice card to target is Fright Train because Engine of Destruction increases damage dealt by Fright Train by 1. So we need Wraith to deal the damage, then we need Wraith to target Fright Train, and now Fright Train goes evil and targets everything. This is infernal, so in fact Proletariat will redirect it to a clone card. And that clone card will actually get destroyed because of the second hit. but that's not bad. Alright, so we have 4 powers here. We can have HP recovery to a single hero. We can have damage reduction to the Sentinels, which is a pretty good power, since anything that does universal damage would be reduced by 1 to the Sentinels and help keep them alive. The Idealist can deal 2 psychic damage, or we can do a small amount of deck manipulation, which in a game of Vengeance is not as powerful because there are 3 villain decks and 1 environment deck, so there are 4 decks we would want to choose from. We could do this on Proletariat, or not Proletariat, we could do this on Fright Train and we'll know immediately what Fright Train will play, but yeah. Alright. So what I would like to do is have damage reduction to the Sentinels, because I guess Idealist could do 2 psychic damage, and since this is psychic damage, it would hit Proletariat. So actually I'm going to do that on Proletariat, because it will not get redirected to a clone card. And Sentinels draws Coordinated Assault. 1 shot. One of your hero targets deals 1 target X melee damage, where X equals the number of your active hero character cards plus 1. Since there are 4 active cards currently 4 active cards, this will do 5 melee damage right now. And if you look at the flavor text, okay team, just like we promised, knock him down! Dr. Medico, Southwest Sentinels number 4. This is why people call these cards the Southwest Sentinels, although, again, if you just look at the deck, or the card back right here on the very left, the Sentinels, there's no Southwest Sentinels. And if they wanted to call them the Southwest Sentinels, why don't they put Southwest on this cover? Like, there's certainly plenty of room to the right of the, but still above Sentinels, for it to be called the Southwest Sentinels. That's just what irks me. Off the rails. 1 shot. Fright Train deals the hero target with the highest HP 3 projectile damage. Destroy 1 hero target with 2 or fewer HP. Actually, we already saw that card. It's a repeats. So remember when I said Vengeance games are a little harder? Legacy's already at half HP, and we're not even halfway done with the game. Actually, Setback's also at half HP, although Sentinels are close to max, so I guess that we're not really halfway through our heroes, but there's just so much damage that floats around that it's really easy to really easy for a Vengeance game to end fast, either in your favor or their favor. Alright, so cash outs. There are no tokens on our unlucky pool, so we can't draw cards, but we could play it to have 2 cards discarded for each hero target to regain 2 HP. That's not awful. Plucky Break would just be HP recovery on Setback's side. Reckless Rush would do 2 melee damage to himself and 1 target, and then add 2 tokens. And then there's Whoops Sorry, which can destroy an ongoing card. It will also destroy Motivational Charge, but we could lose Genetically Fused Physique, and therefore we'd be able to hit Baron Blade for more, and he wouldn't be regaining HP, so I guess this is a little better. So Motivational Charge was briefly useful, but getting rid of Genetically Fused Physique seems better, and getting tokens in my unlucky pool seems good. We shall risk. The risk was Karmic Retribution, which just gave us HP recovery. And we draw another Plucky Break. And now we get Freedom Tower's first turn. Ironclad Maintenance Bay. Room. At the end of the environment turn, put the top card of each trash pile under its associated deck. So these cards are all going to the bottom of our decks. So this allows for some amount of deck manipulation. Alright, Ruin. This is Baron Blade's turn. Nemesis. At the end of Baron Blade's turn, this card deals the hero target with the lowest HP 1 infernal damage. Then, if the Argent Adept is active in this game, destroy 1 instrument card. Well, Argent Adept is not active in this game, and you can guess that this Nemesis is to Argent Adept. And he's hitting the hero target with the lowest for 1 infernal damage. That's actually not too much. Like, I mean, this card would certainly be more annoying if Argent Adept were active in this game, but he's not. All he's doing is doing 1 damage, so that's why you really don't need to target Ruin. Don't get distracted with these mini targets. Go after the main villains themselves. Although the Idealist is now down to 7 HP, so be careful for her. Alright, we can actually stop a lot of villain cards from being played by playing Takedown. Because villain cards cannot be played. This would spare us one round. And Lead from the Front and Superhuman Durability are also kind of boring right now. So I think we're gonna stop villain cards from getting played. And Baron Blade is now without damage reduction and cannot regain HP. And he also hits himself as a part of his card. Oh, right. I don't have to do that. Because he says at the end of Baron Blade's villain turn, Baron Blade deals the hero target the lowest HP and himself 2 melee damage. So Baron Blade is likely to take himself out at some point in the game. But we shall just wail on Baron Blade because he has the Nemesis bonus. Legacy draws a Surge of Strength, so this will help hit Baron Blade for even more. And then Fright Train hits Legacy. Now the Proletariats all hit Proletariat for Psychic. He can't play a card. And then he does 2 melee damage 6 times. And who has the highest? It actually doesn't matter because all of these will take damage ultimately. Alright, so the highest HP hero is 12. Alright, so Coordinated Assault will do 5 melee damage. Fling in the Darkness can do 3 melee and automatically destroy a target if they have 4 or fewer HP. Horrifying Dichotomy deals 3 energy damage twice. Or 3 damage twice, different types. And then Sentinel Tactics. This card is a nice card to play. I didn't play it at first because I really wanted to play the other card that I played that's now on the bottom of my deck, Blackout. But Sentinel Tactics, the first time one of the Sentinels deals damage each turn, you may use a power. So let's put Sentinel Tactics out. And now which of these 4 powers shall I use? Let's use Idealists. And I'll do 2 psychic damage. And I think I'm going to hit Proletariat with this because it's a psychic and therefore not redirectable. But hey, the Sentinels Sentinels dealt damage this turn, so we can use a power. So we get a free second power. So reveal the bottom card of a deck, discard it or put it on the top of that deck. We actually know what the bottom of each of these decks are. Right? Because Ironclad Maintenance Bay. Put the top card of each trash pile under its associated deck. We know what all of those cards are! So for instance, Motivational Charge we can get back by putting it on the top of Legacy's deck. Or Sentinels has Blackout. We can get Blackout back. Setback has Cause and Effect. We could put this on the top of Setback's deck. And it would destroy potentially Sentinel Tactics or Takedown, but we would be able to destroy another ongoing or environment card, although actually I'm not too opposed to those cards already in play. We don't know what's on the bottom of the environment deck, but Baron Blade's deck, the bottom is Genetically Fused Physique, which we actually don't want to put back into play. And then, I keep hitting that. The bottom of Proletariats is Regroup and Recover. Nope, not that, sorry, I lied. Which one was it? Oh, I thought I had put one of those. Oh. Wait. I thought it put Share in the Struggle back on the bottom of the deck, but I guess it didn't. What am I forgetting here? Well... okay, whatever. We do know what the bottom of a lot of these decks are, but I think ultimately I do like Mainstay's power because it will reduce damage dealt to the Sentinels by 1, which will keep them alive. And Sentinels draws Positive Energy, 1 shot. Each hero target regains 1 HP. If the Idealist is active, she deals each villain target 2 psychic damage. That would be a good card to play in the next turn. Fright Train can't play cards, and hits Medico. And now Setback. Alrighty. Reckless Rush would get more tokens in my unlucky pool. Cash out. Potentially we can get HP recovery across the board. I'm gonna wait on that a little bit, I think. Plucky Break would remove tokens to draw a card and deal damage. Reckless Rush would hit myself and add tokens, but I could also hit something else. I'm gonna opt for more tokens, as risky as that is. And then this risk, the card played is Cash Out, so remove any number of tokens, draw that many cards, and then each player may discard a card. If 2 cards are discarded this way, each hero target regains 2 HP. I'm gonna remove half my tokens, draw 3 cards, get Surprising Fortune, Uncharmed Life, and Friendly Fire. So if you can discard 2 cards, each hero regains 2 HP. Well, Superhuman Durability is of limited usefulness. I think each of those are exciting, and I don't think I need all of these cards. Uncharmed Life, I don't think I want. Uncharmed Life requires you to remove tokens to redirect damage to Setback, so I don't really like it too much. And Setback draws Cash Out. Alright. Environment plays Dr. Stinson's Secondary Lab. Room. At the end of the environment turn, reveal the top card of each hero deck and either discard it or replace it. This sounds like Tachyon's power. And I thought Tachyon was also called Dr. Stinson. Alright, well, we're moving the bottom card, or top card of each trash to the bottom of their respective decks. And then we're going to reveal the top card of each hero deck and either discard it or replace it. So Legacy has a Backfist Strike on the top of her deck. That's a good card. And Sentinels has Dark Delusions, which is a good card. And Setback has Fumbling Fool. Remember, this card will be revealed and put into play by Risk. Discard the top card of each deck. You may add or remove 3 tokens. It's not particularly exciting. It would be good for getting tokens, but I don't really have a need for tokens right now, so I'm going to discard it. Baron Blade can't play cards. Hits the Idealist, hits himself. We'll hit Mainstay. Try and fail the Idealist. And now Takedown's gone. Alright. Well, Surge of Strength will do more damage to Baron Blade. And Legacy draws the Backfist Strike, surprise! Alright, Proletariat hits himself for a lot. And then what is he gonna play? Overwhelm the Mighty, 1-shot. Each Proletariat deals the hero target with the highest HP 1 irreducible melee damage. So we can choose the order, I don't think it matters too much. This is irreducible, so Mainstay doesn't help. And then we're gonna get 2 melee damage 6 times. So I'm gonna try to hit the Sentinels when I can, because damage reduction. Alrighty. Whew. Well, Proletariat is down to 2 HP, so if I can hit Proletariat for 2 damage that's not psychic, or is psychic rather, because redirect non-psychic damage to the clone with the lowest. And the card I have in hand that does psychic is Positive Energy. And it deals each villain target 2 psychic, so this will hit Baron Blade and Fright Train, so that's good. And this is HP recovery, which is even better. And I'm just going to hit Proletariat first, just to take him out, and all of his cards are removed. But Sentinel Tactics allows me to use a power in the middle of this one-shot. So I can focus more damage on Baron Blade, I think. So while I'm hitting Baron Blade, I might as well hit Baron Blade. See, like, Fright Train does have a nice +1 to his damage, or have a nice innate +1 thanks to Engine of Destruction. At least the first damage dealt to him each turn. But that means it's just easier to take him out last, versus the other villains, which, you know, I don't know. The ones that are easier to take out, I feel like, are the ones you should take out last. You should focus on the ones that are harder to take out. But I'm probably being really backwards in that regard. And let's keep our Sentinels alive. Dark Delusions. We already have it, or I think I already put it. No, I did not. Never mind. Oh, I put that on the top of my deck. Alright, revealed it and I left it on the top of my deck. And Fright Train plays Locomotivation. One shot. Reveal the top card of Fright Train's deck. If it is a Nemesis card, discard it and Fright Train regains 5 HP. If it is not a Nemesis card, put it into play. That card revealed is not a Nemesis, so it's being put into play. Last stop. One shot. Reveal the top card of the environment deck. If that card has HP, i.e. if it's the target, Fright Train deals the hero target with the highest HP X projectile damage, or X equals the HP of that card divided by 2 rounded down. Then discard that environment deck. Or, discard that environment card, sorry. Pro tip. Freedom Tower has no targets in it, so this card does nothing. And then he deals damage to the highest HP hero. We'll choose Sentinels. Now it's Setback's turn. But yeah, Freedom Tower has no targets in play. The deck consists of 11 room cards. We've seen 2 of them. The one that was revealed and discarded was Caspit's Playground. Room. All hero ongoing cards are also equipment cards. So if you look on this card and you see Unity, you'll realize this card is really nice with Unity because she can now destroy hero ongoing cards in order to get mechanical golems into play. So it makes it a little easier to play Unity. It also makes it easier for villain cards to be able to destroy hero cards, because a villain card that says destroy all equipment cards, Omnitron, would then destroy all hero ongoing cards as the result. So it's beneficial to heroes, it's also beneficial to villains. This also helps the Wraith, because of her card... what is it called? Inventive Preparation, I think? I might be making that up. That might be Origin of Depth's card. I honestly don't remember. The card that says, search your deck for an equipment card. You can also get combat stance into play thanks to this card. What else? If you have hero ongoing cards in your trash, and you play Mr. Fixer's card. I am terrible with names right now, I'm so sorry. You play Mr. Fixer's card that pulls all equipment cards from your trash and puts it in your hand, you'll be able to get your hero ongoing cards back. That's good. Omnitron U would then be able to pull an ongoing card from his trash into his hand as well. There's a lot of nice things that can happen with this card. And it was discarded though, so it's not immediately exciting. Alrighty, well we have 2 cash outs, 2 plucky breaks, a friendly fire, and a surprising fortune. Friendly fire is a nice card for getting tokens into Setback's unlucky pool, except he has to be dealt damage this way, and he has 11 hit points, so that's not really nice right now. Surprising fortune, if I want to sacrifice tokens, I can have him remove 2 to regain 2 hit points, and then another player can draw 2 cards, not necessarily Setback. I mean, like, Legacy does have damage-dealing potential with Backfist Strike, but... I mean, that is actually a nice card for her. Plucky Break would allow Setback to draw a card and deal damage. So I'm gonna do that. Remove 2 tokens, draw a card, whoops, sorry. And now I can hit something. So, do I expect Baron Blade to die on the environment turn? I don't think so. Do I expect Legacy to be able to take out Baron Blade on her turn? Well, with Backfist Strike and Surge of Strength, this will do 6 damage to Baron Blade. And then Atomic Glare will do 5 damage to Baron Blade. So that's 11 points of damage to a 9 HP target. That's overkill. I think if I hit Baron Blade with this 2, he'll be down to 7. But then I still won't be able to take him out. So he's going to be overkilled in some manner. So instead I'm going to hit Fright Train. These two Nemesis cards belong to Baron Blade's deck, right? So they will die once Baron Blade dies. Which is a reason to focus on the villains themselves as opposed to these mini targets, because if I take out Omniblade, sure, Omniblade's gone, but then he'll play another card. Baron Blade, that is. If I take out Baron Blade, not only will Omniblade be destroyed, but Ruin will also be destroyed. So that's one motivation for focusing on the main cards as opposed to the mini targets. Of course, if there's a mini target that enters play that is outright awful, such as, I don't know, a card that says you may play only one card each turn, you may use only one power each turn, I might want to focus on that one. Or a card that says at the end of the villain turn, play the top card of this villain deck. Or a card that says this target is immune to lightning damage. Friction. Anyway, I'm going to focus on Fright Train. I do apologize if this isn't as well commentated as my usual one-shot videos, but I'm still slightly unfamiliar with Vengeance mechanics. I'm actually playing this honestly, as opposed to like having some amount of strategy. Add 1 token to my unlucky pool. That card is Karmic Retribution, and I don't have enough tokens to deal damage, so instead I'll regain HP. And Setback draws a high-risk behavior. It's actually even more dangerous in a Vengeance game, because even more villain targets deal damage. The Wraith's Arsenal. Room. At the start of the environment turn, each player may draw 1 card. If all active players draw a card this way, destroy this card. So this room doesn't act immediately. Ironclad Maintenance Bay is moving cards in a bunch of areas. And then Dr. Stinson's secondary lab allows the heroes to look at the top of their decks. Thok, I like. Fling in the Darkness, I already have one in hand, right? So I'm going to discard that one. I'll try to get a different card. Silver Lining would be put into play by Risk, so no, I want to keep that one. Alright, Baron Blade, do your worst. Vengeful Assault. 1 shot. Baron Blade deals the hero with the most cards in play 3 melee damage. Increased damage dealt by villain targets by 1 until the start of Baron Blade's turn. As if there weren't enough damage being dealt to us, let's do even more. Alright, so the hero with the most cards in play is Sentinels. And whenever you target the Sentinels, you actually target one of their hero character cards. So I'm just going to target whoever has the highest, which is Dr. Medico, excuse me. Who's considered to have the lowest? Dr. Medico. Then Baron Blade hits himself. I forgot about the self-damage. But I think if I use Backfist Strike on Baron Blade, I will still take him out. And I will. Alright, so we're down 2 villains. We're left with Fright Train, who has 23 hit points, and the Engine of Destruction, which increases the first damage dealt to Fright Train each turn by 1. Alright, so remember how heroes have incapacitated actions? Villains also have incapacitated actions. Baron Blades is, at the start of Baron Blades' villain turn, each hero target deals itself 1 toxic damage. So we will be hitting ourselves, and actually Legacy will hit herself for 1 more point of damage thanks to Surge of Strength. And the Sentinels will not hit themselves at all as long as Mainstay uses his power. But, you know, Setback will hit himself. We also have Proletariat's incapacitated action, which will happen next. At the start of Proletariat's turn, shuffle the hero trash with the most cards into its associated deck. So which deck has the most cards in its trash? It's actually Setback's. So Setback will shuffle his deck into his, will shuffle his trash to his deck. So Silver Lining will be lost, but that's okay. Might as well hit Fright Train. He's the only villain target in play, and Legacy draws the Thok that we expected. Proletariat, shuffle Setback's deck, and now we're on Sentinel's turn. Alright, so Coordinated Assault does 5 melee damage, +1 to Fright Train. Dark Delusions does 2 +1 Infernal, and then 3 Psychic. Fling in the Darkness does 3 +1 melee, and then would destroy Fright Train if it were at 4 or fewer. And then Horrifying Dichotomy would do 3+1 and then 3. So Horrifying Dichotomy does the most damage right now, so I'm going to do that. And I did I did damage, so I'm going to use a power. Further hits don't get the +1 because it's only the first time he's dealt damage each turn. And I'm going to keep reducing damage dealt to the Sentinels. And Sentinels draws Second Chance, 1-shot. Flip one of your character cards from its incapacitated side to its active side. Restore it to 6 HP. So as I said, each individual Sentinels card is easier to take out than a normal hero card, or normal hero period, but it's easier to get individual ones back, and the Sentinels only become truly incapacitated once all 4 of the Sentinels are taken out. Fright Train plays Choke, Nemesis. At the end of Fright Train's turn, destroy 1 hero equipment card. If Knife is active in this game, reduce damage dealt by hero targets by 1. So this card is titled Choke, and the art looks like Choke Points. Yes, this is Choke Points. It's actually Choke Points' predecessor, Choke. And normally, well, I shouldn't say normally, in the physical game, Vengeance came out before Mini Expansion 4. I don't remember when Mini Expansion 4 came out. I think it came out before Villains of the Multiverse as a bonus for it being pre-ordered to expectations or something. So Choke Point was actually an expansion of this single villain target into its own deck. And this card's mechanic of destroying 1 hero equipment card is certainly glorified in Choke Point's deck, which involves a lot of hero card destruction. So a little bit of backstory for you. But there were no hero equipment cards to destroy. Unless we had that card in play that turned all hero ongoing cards to equipment cards, in which case one of them would have gotten destroyed. Do we even have ongoing? Oh, we do have ongoings, yes. We do. Okay. Well, Fright Train is down to 9 hit points. Is there a way we can deal 9 hit points this turn? I largely doubt it. Well, Plucky Break, I do not have 2 tokens, so this would remove all of my tokens and then I would regain 3 HP. Surprising Fortune, I do not have 2 tokens, so that would not do anything. Destroy 1 non-character card belonging to another hero. Destroy 1 ongoing or environment card. Add or remove 3 tokens. That would destroy Engine of Destruction or an environment card. That's a little boring. Cash Out would just be another sort of HP recovery means. Friendly Fire, again, I'm just low on hit points. High Risk Behavior, there's actually only 1 villain target left in play. But it will act before Setback's next turn, so I don't really want to play that. I think I'm just going to cash out. And I don't have any need for tokens, so I'm just going to remove 1 and draw 1 card. Like another Whip Sorry. Which is good, because I would have played that immediately. And then I can discard cards. I don't need that Superhuman Durability, and I'm going to lose Second Chance because I doubt that the Sentinels will get incapacitated by the next turn. I've already discarded 2 cards, so we will all regain 2 hit points. Regaining 2 hit points across the board is especially nice for Sentinels because it restores each Sentinels individually. And now let's see what our risk is. It's Turn of Events, which I didn't have enough tokens to use its effect, and I just dealt myself damage. But I drew Looking Up, so now I do have a consistent damage dealer. So I can draw cards. If all active players draw a card, destroy this card. So I do not expect the game to last longer than 1 round. So I'm going to go ahead and have everyone draw a card. Legacy draws a Fortitude, Sentinels draws an Aura of Vision, and Setback draws an Uncharmed Life. And then we get Legacy's Landing Pad, Room. Increase damage dealt by the target with the highest HP by 1. Reduce damage dealt to the target with the lowest HP by 1. Highest HP is Mainstay, I think, if I'm looking at this correctly. Lowest HP is Choke. Now let's look at the top of our decks. I already have a Fortitude. Good hero, bad hero. Allows for HP recovery and damage dealing. Let's get rid of that one. Plucky break. I don't have tokens for that. Alright, we're losing all of those cards. Baron Blade's action is for all of us to hit ourselves for 1. Oh, Mainstay hit himself. Hey, but Mainstay used the power, or Mainstay did damage, so the Sentinels may use the power because of the Sentinel tactics. So, we shall try to hit Fright Train, especially because he has a damage increase still. That's a nice effect. Alright, Legacy. Can you win the game? And the answer is yes. Fuck. We'll put Fright Train down to 1 hit point, and now damage dealt to Fright Train will be reduced by 1. But that doesn't matter because Atomic Lair will take him out. And we've won. So this screen certainly looks different in a Vengeance game. Because instead of there being a single villain looking dead, and then the heroes on the right side, we have them all on the left side next to each other to represent the fact that one hero was matched with each villain. That was one of my shorter one-shot videos. I don't think it was really that short of a game. I think it lasted 4 rounds? Maybe 5 rounds? The game started 18 minutes, I remember that much, so it was half an hour of gameplay, but anyway, if that was too fast, just complain in the comments and I'll make sure the next Vengeance game goes by much more longer. Yes, more longer, that's good English. But yeah, that's a mint, and that wasn't a terrible game, and I'm sure that was intentionally not a terrible game because it's sort of the introduction to Vengeance games. If you didn't realize that Vengeance was just released and you wanted to play a Vengeance game and you realized the one-shot is a Vengeance game. Yeah. I don't really have much to say because I don't have much experience with Vengeance games just yet. I've had a lot going on in my life in the past week, so I have not really played much with Vengeance. But yeah, leave a comment if you liked or disliked this video. Leave a like or dislike if you liked or disliked this video. Hopefully respectfully. Not respectfully. Respectfully like or dislike, I guess. Also makes sense. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a good day.